The night shift was always quiet on the Edge colony. Too quiet for most people. He worked alone most of the time. A simple maintenance worker, fixing broken lights, damaged panels, and old machines that no one else wanted to touch. He was not a soldier, not a hero, just a man trying to earn credits and get through another long night. The colony floated far from Earth, close to the dark border of known space. Ships passed through, but few stayed. People here learned to mind their own business. Curiosity was dangerous this far out. That night started like any other. Routine checks, cold metal floors, low humming engines. Then he heard something he was not supposed to hear. A sound. Soft, weak, almost like crying. He stopped walking. The sound came again, echoing from a dark service corridor that was marked restricted. No one should have been there. He told himself to ignore it. That was the rule out here. Ignore what you don't understand. But the sound came again, this time closer. He picked up a small light tool and stepped into the corridor. The lights flickered. The air was colder than normal. At the far end, something moved. He slowed his steps. His heart began to beat faster. Then he saw her, a small figure pressed against the wall. Thin arms wrapped around herself. Skin not quite human. Eyes too large, glowing faintly in the dark. An alien child. She was injured. One leg was bleeding. Her breathing was uneven. Her body shook with fear. When the light touched her face, she flinched hard, like she expected pain. She tried to stand, but fell again. He froze. Aliens were not rare in the galaxy, but alien children alone were. Very rare. She opened her mouth to speak. What came out was broken, unclear. Words mixed with sounds he did not recognize. Then she said something he understood. Mother, find mother. Her voice was weak, desperate. He looked around quickly. No guards, no alarms, no signs of a fight. Just a scared child in a place she should never be. He thought it was a mistake, a lost passenger, a weak alien child who wandered too far. But something felt wrong. She kept looking over her shoulder, not at him, at the darkness behind him, like she was being hunted. He crouched slowly and lowered his tool. He spoke softly, keeping his voice calm. He told her she was safe. He told her no one would hurt her. She did not understand all the words, but she understood the tone. Her shaking slowed. Just a little. She reached into her clothes and held a small object tightly. A strange pendant. Old. Not broken, but inactive. Again, she whispered the same words. Mother, please. He felt something heavy settle in his chest. A feeling he did not like. A feeling that told him this was not simple. He could walk away. Report it. Let security handle it. But he didn't. He wrapped his jacket around her shoulders. She was cold. Too cold. When his hand touched her arm, she didn't pull away. She looked up at him with eyes full of fear and hope at the same time. That was the moment he made his choice. He decided to help her. He did not know who she was. He did not know who her mother was. He did not know what kind of danger he was stepping into. All he knew was that she was alone. As he lifted her carefully, the pendant in her hand pulsed once. Very faint. Almost invisible. Somewhere far away, something noticed. Deep inside the station, a system woke up. Old scanners activated without warning. Signals moved across dark space. Unseen eyes turned toward the colony. He felt the floor vibrate under his boots. Not enough to trigger an alarm, but enough to feel wrong. He paused and looked back down the corridor. For just a second, he thought he saw shadows moving where no one stood. His stomach tightened. This was no longer just about helping a lost child. He understood it now. Whatever this girl was, whoever her mother was, someone powerful was looking for her. And by choosing to help, his quiet life on the edge of space was already over. Before the next part begins, if you enjoy deep human-focused science fiction stories like this, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss what happens next. He did not take her to his quarters right away. That would be too risky. Instead, he moved through forgotten service tunnels, places no cameras watched anymore. The colony was old. Not everything worked the way it should. He knew these hidden paths well. Years of quiet repair work had taught him where people stopped caring. The alien girl stayed silent as he carried her. Her small hands clutched his jacket tightly, like she was afraid he might disappear. Every sudden sound made her flinch. When they finally reached an unused storage room, he sealed the door carefully. The lights inside were weak but stable. Safe enough. He set her down slowly on a folded thermal sheet. She winced when her injured leg touched the floor. He knelt beside her and opened his small medical kit. It was basic, made for humans, but it was all he had. She watched his every movement closely. Her eyes followed his hands. Her breathing was still fast, but not panicked anymore. When he cleaned her wound, she let out a quiet sound of pain. He stopped immediately. He spoke softly again, using slow words. He showed her the cloth. He showed her the gel. She seemed to understand. She nodded once. That small movement meant everything to him. As he treated her injury, he noticed how different she was. Her skin reacted gently to the medicine, not rejecting it. Her body was fragile, but not weak. She was built for something else. After he finished, he gave her water and a nutrition bar. She stared at it like it was a strange object from another world. She sniffed it, tapped it, then took a careful bite. Her eyes widened. She made a small sound that almost sounded like surprise. Then another bite. Then another. For the first time, her shoulders relaxed. Warmth came next. He adjusted the temperature controls, wrapped her again in the jacket. She looked down at it, then at him. Slowly, she touched the fabric, then his sleeve. Like she was testing if he was real. Trust did not come all at once. It came in small pieces. Time passed quietly. She began to explore the room with careful steps. She touched metal walls, listened to humming panels, watched light reflections on the floor like they were something magical. At one point, she laughed softly. Just once. The sound hit him harder than any alarm could have. She pointed at a small repair drone resting in the corner. It powered on briefly when she touched it. She jumped back in shock, then laughed again. He smiled without realizing it. Later, she sat beside him and pulled out the pendant again. She held it close to her chest. She tried to explain. Broken words, images, gestures, mother, stars, home. But the way she spoke of her mother was different. There was fear and respect, not just love. When she traced symbols in the air, his expression changed. Those were not symbols of a common traveler species. They looked old, powerful. That was when he truly understood. This girl was not just lost. She was important, very important. A soft vibration ran through the walls, so faint it could be imagined. He froze. She froze too. Her eyes went wide. She clutched the pendant suddenly, pressing it tight, like it could protect her. The pendant reacted. At first, it glowed faintly, then brighter. Symbols appeared on its surface, moving like living light. He tried to stop it, tried to cover it, but it was too late. The device activated fully. A pulse moved through the room. Silent, invisible. It passed through metal, through space, far beyond the colony. Somewhere in the dark between stars, something ancient and powerful received the signal. The girl looked up at him, fear returning to her eyes. She said one clear word this time. Coming. He felt the weight of those words settle deep inside him. Whoever was coming. Nothing in his life would ever be the same again. He did not sleep that cycle. After the pendant activated, he felt like the walls were closing in. The storage room no longer felt safe. Every sound made him tense. The alien girl stayed close to him. Too close. Like she knew something bad was coming. He waited until the station quieted again, then powered on his old terminal. It was slow, outdated, but it still worked. He began searching the signal logs. Not official channels. Hidden ones. The pendant's pulse had left traces. Very faint, but not invisible. What he found made his hands go cold. The signal was not local. It was not civilian. It used encryption older than most modern systems. Military level. Galactic level. That alone told him the truth. He cross-checked the pattern against forbidden archives. Records no one was supposed to open. One result kept appearing. Again and again. A species marked as restricted contact. Not because they were weak. Because they were feared. The alien girl belonged to them. They were known as protectors, guardians of ancient technology, beings who did not rule with numbers, but with intelligence and force. Very few had ever seen one up close. Fewer still had survived angering them. His eyes moved to the girl, sitting beside him. She was quietly watching a flickering light panel, like it was a toy. She did not look dangerous. She looked small, but she carried blood that could change systems. He dug deeper, focused on one name that appeared in the files. A female leader, a scientist and protector combined. Her name was never written fully. Only titles. She was known for stopping wars before they began, for destroying fleets that threatened balance. This was the girl's mother. His chest tightened. Now it made sense. Why the child was alone. Why someone was hunting her. Galactic powers wanted leverage. A living key. A weapon they could control. The girl shifted and looked at him. She sensed his fear. She moved closer and touched his hand. Her fingers were warm. He looked at her and spoke carefully. He asked about her mother. She tried to explain. Broken words. Images made with light from the pendant. Stars burning. Ships destroyed. Then silence. Her mother had hidden her. Sent her away to protect her. That was the truth. She was never meant to be found. A sudden alert flashed on his terminal. Not an alarm. A passive scan. Someone was watching the colony. His breath slowed as he shut everything down. This was no longer about kindness alone. This was war-level danger. He could still walk away. Hand her over. Save himself. Many would do that. He looked at the girl again. At the way she trusted him, without question. Fear filled his chest. But something else pushed back harder. Resolve. He had already crossed the line. Turning back now would destroy more than her life. The station lights flickered once. Then again. Security channels opened across the colony. Unmarked ships entered local space. No broadcast. No warning. Professional. Hunters. The girl grabbed his arm suddenly. Her eyes wide. She whispered a word he now understood. Finders. His terminal pinged once. A soft tone. Someone had locked onto the pendant signal. Coordinates confirmed. They had found him. He shut off the lights and pulled the girl toward the hidden exit. His heart hammered as heavy footsteps echoed far down the corridor. This was no longer a question of helping a lost child. This was a fight against powers that ruled the stars. And somehow, a simple human had chosen to stand in their way. The corridor lights shut down behind them. Darkness swallowed the space as heavy boots struck metal floors somewhere close. Too close. He did not run blindly. He moved with purpose, choosing paths he had memorized over years of quiet work. The alien girl stayed tight against his side, her small hand locked around his sleeve. They reached the lower transport levels, just as warning lights flared across the colony. Not alarms. Worse. Silent lockdown. The spaceport beyond the glass walls was alive with movement. Ships lifting off. Security units spreading out. Unknown vessels hovering above like dark insects. Hunters. He pushed through a service gate and pulled the girl behind him. A blast shook the corridor as something hit the wall where they had been seconds before. They ran. Through cargo lanes. Past loading drones. Across open platforms where vacuum waited just one mistake away. Twice he saw escape routes. A shuttle warming up. A cargo pod with open access. Twice he ignored them. He could not leave her. At one point, a blast knocked him off his feet. He rolled hard, shielding her with his body. Pain exploded across his shoulder. She cried out and clung to him. He forced himself up. Blood ran warm under his sleeve. They reached the outer docks as emergency thrusters fired nearby. A small transport ship sat idle, engines cold. He activated it manually, fingers shaking. The door slid shut, just as energy bolts tore through the air outside. The ship launched violently. The city fell away below them as they shot into open space. But safety did not come. Not even close. 3 unmarked ships broke formation and followed. Fast. Silent. He pushed the transport hard, diving toward the asteroid belt near the colony. Rock and ice filled the void ahead. The chase became madness. Alarm screamed. Systems overloaded. Asteroids passed so close they scraped the hull. The girl watched the stars spin past the window, fear written across her face. Then something changed. She reached out and touched his arm gently. Her grip was not desperate now. It was steady. She looked at him and spoke clearly. Stay. One word. Full of meaning. A hit rocked the ship, tearing through the rear systems. Controls failed. Power dropped. The transport spiraled. He managed to crash, landing on a drifting asteroid, the hull breaking apart as they slid across stone and ice. Silence followed. Cold silence. He crawled out first, pulling her free before the wreck could collapse. His leg buckled beneath him. Pain shot through his body. Still he stood. They moved into a cave carved by ancient impacts. Dark. Still. For a moment, there was peace. The girl touched his face gently. Her eyes were wet. She pressed her forehead against his chest. A gesture of her kind. Family. He understood it without words. Footsteps echoed at the cave entrance. Lights cut through the darkness. Hunters closed in, weapons raised. He stepped in front of her. No weapon. No armor. Just a human standing between danger and a child. Energy struck him square in the chest. The world went white. He fell hard onto the stone floor, breath gone, body numb. The last thing he saw was the girl screaming his name in her broken language as dark figures surrounded them. Then everything went black. Darkness slowly faded. He woke to silence, so deep it felt unreal. No alarms. No gunfire. No movement. Pain pulsed through his chest and leg, steady and heavy. He tried to move and failed. Soft light filled the space around him. Not harsh. Not artificial. Alive. He forced his eyes open. He was no longer in the asteroid cave. He lay on a smooth surface that felt warm, almost gentle. The air did not smell of metal or fuel. It smelled clean. He turned his head slightly. The alien girl sat beside him. Safe. Unhurt. Relief hit him harder than the pain. She saw his eyes open and let out a small sound of joy. She leaned close, touching his hand carefully. You stayed, she said slowly, clearly. Before he could answer, the room changed. The light shifted. The air vibrated softly. Someone else was there. He felt it before he saw her. Power pressed down like gravity itself had increased. Not violent. Controlled. He struggled to lift his head. She stood at the far end of the chamber. Tall. Calm. Unmoving. Her presence filled the room without effort. Her eyes were ancient. Not cold. Measured. This was the girl's mother. He knew it instantly. The hunters were gone. The soldiers were gone. The galactic forces that had chased them were nowhere to be seen. They had been removed. The mother stepped forward. Each step silent. She looked first at her daughter. Her expression softened, just a little. Then she looked at him. Her gaze passed over his injuries, his torn clothes, the burns on his skin. She did not speak right away. Silence stretched. Finally she spoke. Her voice was calm, deep and clear. You are human. It was not a question. He nodded weakly. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Not in anger. In thought. For generations, she said, my kind believed humans were fragile. She gestured to him. Physically weak. Emotionally driven. Easily broken. The girl shifted uncomfortably. The mother continued. You had many chances to leave. You chose not to. Images appeared in the air between them. Moments from the chase. From the colony. From the asteroid belt. Him shielding the child. Him running when escape was possible. Him standing unarmed in front of weapons. The galactic commanders who watched from a distance grew silent. Their confidence cracked. The mother turned to them briefly. You sought to use my child. You failed. Her attention returned to the human. You acted without power. Without protection. Without reward. Her voice lowered. That defies expectation. He swallowed, throat dry. I just couldn't leave her, he said simply. That answer echoed through the chamber. The mother studied him for a long moment. Then she did something no one expected. She bowed her head slightly. A sign of respect. Gasps rippled through hidden observers. A legendary protector. A force that ended wars. Showing respect to a single human. The balance shifted. The galactic forces understood it then. Humans were not what they believed. The mother straightened. "My daughter will return home," she said. "She will be safe." The girl's face fell. She looked at the human, and then back at her mother. The mother followed her gaze. Her expression changed again. "This human's fate," she continued, "is now my responsibility." The room went still. "This is my decision," she said. "One no council will challenge." She stepped closer to him. "You may return to your life," she said, "or you may leave it forever." She extended her hand. "Choose." The impossible decision hung in the air. The chamber did not empty after the mother spoke. Instead, it grew larger. Walls shifted. Light expanded. Hidden observers revealed themselves. This place was no longer a private room. It was a council space. Figures appeared as glowing forms, projections from across the galaxy. Leaders, commanders, representatives of species that ruled star systems. All of them were watching one human lying injured on a platform. The mother raised her hand slightly. Silence followed instantly. "For a long time," she said, "humanity was ignored." Images appeared in the air. Human ships pushed aside. Human worlds taxed. Human colonies used as buffer zones. They were seen as useful, she continued, but not important. Her gaze moved back to him. "Today, that view ends." Murmurs spread through the council. Some calm, some uneasy. The mother spoke again. "This human had no strength to match ours. No fleet. No authority." She paused. "He still stood between my child and death." The images changed. Showed him shielding the girl. Bleeding. Refusing to run. "This is not weakness," she said. "This is choice." The council grew quiet. The girl stepped forward and stood beside her mother now. Safe. Whole. She reached out and held her mother's hand. For the first time, the mother's voice softened. "My child is home," she said. The girl looked back at the human. Her eyes filled again. She walked over slowly and pressed her forehead against his, gently. "A goodbye. A thank you. You are family," she said in careful human words. His chest tightened. He nodded once. He could not speak. The mother watched this exchange closely, not with judgment, with understanding. She turned back to the council. "From this moment," she declared, "no human world will be taken without consequence." That statement alone changed everything. The alliance leaders reacted instantly. Whispers turned to urgent communication. Humans were no longer invisible. One act, one choice, one ordinary human. The mother's gaze returned to him one final time. "You have changed more than you know," she said. She stepped closer. "You may return to your people," she said, "and live knowing what you did here." Then she paused. "Or," she continued, "you may walk a path no human has walked before." The room dimmed. Stars appeared around them. "A bridge between species," she said. "A voice where none existed." She extended her hand again. "Choose," she said quietly, "the fate of one man, and the future of humanity." Balanced on a single decision, the silence after the choice felt different. Not heavy, not frightening. It felt calm. He stood slowly, supported by a soft field of light that eased the pain in his body. The wounds were still there, but they no longer ruled him. He looked at the alien mother, then at the girl. He did not hesitate. "I will stay," he said. The words were simple, but they echoed farther than he could imagine. The mother nodded once. That single movement carried finality. "So it is decided," she said. The chamber shifted again. Stars moved. Space folded. What had been a hidden place became a center of connection. Human signals appeared beside alien ones. Side by side, the galaxy adjusted. In the days that followed, everything changed. Human leaders were summoned, not ordered, invited. For the first time, humans entered galactic chambers as equals, not as workers, not as tools, as voices. He was there too, not as a ruler, not as a warrior, but as proof, a reminder of what humanity could be. The story spread quickly. A simple human, a lost alien child, a choice made without force or reward. Some doubted it. Others feared it. But no one could deny the result. Trade routes reopened. Human colonies were protected. Borders shifted, not with war, but with agreement. The alien girl watched all of this from her mother's side. She was no longer afraid. Her future was secure. Her people surrounded her. Yet sometimes, she looked toward the stars, where humans lived. She never forgot. Neither did he. He became something new. A bridge. When tensions rose, he spoke. When fear returned, he reminded them. He reminded the galaxy that strength was not only found in fleets and weapons. Sometimes, it was found in a human who chose not to walk away. Years later, when new humans arrived among the stars, they were not met with silence. They were met with respect. The galaxy remembered. And on quiet nights, when he stood alone and looked into the endless dark, he thought back to the moment everything changed. A dark corridor, a scared child, a simple choice. He smiled softly, because he knew the truth now. Kindness was never weakness. It was power in its purest form. And sometimes, all it takes to change the galaxy is one human who decides to care.